Trump's presidential campaign, despite Trump's surge in the polls. And Montel Williams joins me to explain all of this. What's wrong with you, man?
Let me tell you, man, I had not bought the Kool-Aid or drank it yet. Bill.
All right, so Trump jury duty, news or not news?
Not news at all. I'm so sorry, man. I was pointing fingers. You saw pointing fingers. I've been arguing with you, Anderson, everybody for the last hour. The guy who was sitting there, poor young man, sitting at jury duty with Trump. I had a friend of mine who happened to be over there at the same time, and she didn't call and say, "Can you put me on TV?"
Why isn't it news? The guy's running for president. He's a New Yorker. He's doing a very American thing. Why is that not news?
It's news what he has to say about what he intends to do with this country, and I think there's a lot of news in those kinds of statements. And the fact that, honestly, look, he went to jury duty. We could have covered it this morning, but all day long, man, we've got people losing their homes in the northwest of America. We've got fires in this country. We got all kinds of stuff going on. If
Hillary Clinton had jury duty, you don't think we'd be covering?
No, you wouldn't. Not this way all day. Come on, all day long.
Come on.
No,
yeah.
no.
Yes.
No, they would have been trying to figure out who was she tweeting.
Get out. No,
no, she would have said, who was she tweeting? That's what we would have said.
Okay, so Lindsey Graham called Donald Trump's immigration plan. He said it's gibberish and nonsensical. He also said that it would kill the Republican Party. What do you think?
Oh, I'm going to tell you something. I think right now what the Republican Party needs to do is stop and pay attention to history. Let's remember something. 8 years ago today, Don, 8 years ago today, Hillary Clinton was leading, was the candidate of choice. I think Rudy Giuliani was leading as a candidate of choice for the Republicans. 1 month later, somebody speaks at a convention, and all of a sudden, all bets are off. Right this minute, one guy spoke at a convention, in a way, at a debate. That guy's Donald Trump. And the rest of those people who are disenfranchised are listening to what he has to say, whether it's right or wrong. The plan is an abomination.
But he was leading before the convention. And the convention helped him, though.
I know, it's solidified.
No one knew who, outside of Chicago, who Barack Obama, I didn't say president because he wasn't president at the time.
Right.
No one knew who he was.
But see, what's going on right now is that we actually have a face to reality television in a different way. Everybody's talking about reality about this, but remember, 10 years ago, there were probably only then about 40 reality TV shows. There are over 350 of them now, all based on controversy, all based on conflict, all based on argument, tables being turned.
And
Donald Trump is doing
what is it about then? It's about ratings. What do you think? You think it's about ratings?
Oh, I think it's not only about ratings, but he's tapped into a piece that's the same piece that I'm telling you. I was having a discussion with an agent a couple of days later, and they said to me, but Montel, let me tell you something. When President Obama spoke the first time, it just fired me up. Well, guess what? There's a whole group of people in America who are getting fired up every time Donald Trump says anything.
What's wrong with that?
Well, what's wrong with it is the fact that what he's saying is things that are unconstitutional, things that are against the law, things that are against the Geneva Convention, things that are against...
Is he saying things that you don't like him, and he's not saying the things that you want to hear him say, so therefore you're against him?
No, there's some things he's saying that I want to hear, some things he's saying that I think are completely just wrong.
All right.
You cannot say that I'm going to change the Constitution of the United States just by stroking a pen. It doesn't happen that way.
Has he done anything right in your estimation?
Oh, yeah, he's done a lot right. What he's done right is that, number one, I guess he's defined what all of our presidential elections are going to be like from this point forth. There will be a loudmouth, just like the evocateur that you're going to talk about in a couple days. Remember, Morton Downey ran for president.
Morton Downey helped put you on the map, too.
Correct, but he ran for... Well, there you go. But he ran for president.
Yeah.
He ran... What's going on right now with Donald Trump?
Yeah.
It's another, I'm sorry, loud mouth who is running for president, but this one's getting a lot more attention.
He did not, though. Morton Downey did not have billions of dollars. I remember watching Morton Downey, but he was on late night and what have you. But I
can say he came on before me, so this was the guy that was on before. We even had Jerry Springer do the first conflict show.
Yeah. Do you think he's conservative enough to be the nominee?
Donald Trump?
Yeah.
Oh, I think there's...
Not Morton Downey, because he's not...
No, there's so many things that are wrong with him to not be the nominee, but I think what's going to happen is by the time you blink, remember, he's the first candidate with this much money. He's also doing the things that are right enough. He gets Carl Icahn to say, well, you know what, I might work and help him move this forward. He will get a couple more to say the same thing. So then you're going to turn around and go, if Icahn believes in him, then... maybe I'm wrong. So by the time we blink, the Republican Party may be forced with a tough decision.
Do you think they'll ever get to a point where we will be saying, and today President Trump said...
Man. You know, I'm going to say to you that there were people 8 years ago today who would have said to you there is absolutely zero way a black man could be the president of the United States.
They didn't think we'd be saying...
8 years ago today.
President Obama, what's his name?
What? President who? Osama who?
Yeah.
That's what they have been saying. So remember, let's not ever count anything out.
Never say
I'm going to be
never.
the guy that said it.
And you should know. I mean, you have seen things and you have lived through things that people never thought that were possible.
And I'm living through something even right now. Look, we're sitting there arguing every single day. You hear everybody in the debate, everybody on each side arguing about whether or not this deal with Iran is right or wrong. We've left the hostages and those being held almost out of the conversation. You're hearing about them only once every other day when there's something released from Iran. Iran should not be controlling the conversation about the Americans that are being held in prison right now.
All right.
While we talk about Donald Trump.
To that point, then, do you, because the president said, and his advisors have said, that he didn't want the hostages to be part of it because he didn't want any harm to come to them.
They were clearly part of it.
So do you think they should have been part of it?
No, they were part of it. They're clearly part of it right now. They're not going to be released until some money is released. And I think that this needs to be still elevated again to a conversation that we all as a nation should be having.
Okay, I want to get this poll in here because he's leading the latest poll. Ben Carson is second, right? But, you know, you like Kasich. I've heard you talk about it. But these are it seems the populists, right? People who don't have that much political experience. Besides, you know, and on the Democratic side, it's Bernie Sanders, but he has tons of political experience. What do you think is going on here?
See, if today you would have listened to it, or the rest of the country would have had an opportunity to hear some of what Kasich had to say, even while he was on O'Reilly, you could retread some of that today. And I'm not trying to, you know, get networks to cross over interviews. But that was way more important what came out of his mouth today than Donald Trump sitting beside a guy who's taking some selfies with him while he's waiting and snoozing, waiting for the decision on jury duty. That's what we should have been hearing about. That's the reason why I thought that it wasn't as newsworthy, because I think Kasich had a lot to say today. And I think a lot of the other candidates have a lot to say, but that's why Donald Trump is going to be good for this, because it's going to push these guys to speak a little bit more vehemently.
We're going to agree to disagree, because you know I love you, right?
I know. Yes, absolutely.
It is good television. And you have to give part of, as you know, part of television is giving people what they want. And people want to hear from Donald Trump.
I want to go back one more time and say, remind us of some things that have happened in the past. Remember, I said this the other night.
Yeah.
A couple years ago, everybody thought that Kim Kardashian and the whole Kardashian event was over when the marriage ended after 79 days.
No.
She was on Forbes' list of most influential people this year.
There you go.
Donald Trump.
You, sir. Thank you.
All right.
Say President Trump.
Oh, the words can't come out.
Thank you, Montel.
Secretary Williams.
I appreciate it. Up next, the new movie, Straight Outta Compton, is the big winner.